Go check everything out. Oh. Gotcha. All right, Anne has not joined yet, but we'll go ahead and get started. Let me turn my recorder on. All right, I have hit record. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, August 6th, 2026. It is 6:01. This is the Bluff Planning and Zoning regular meeting. We will start with a roll call. Malia Collins, Chair.
Brian Whitney.
Marcia Haydenpub.
And then we'll swear you in and then we'll let you say your name.
You don't have a name.
Sounds good.
Erin Nelson, serving as family manager.
Amazing. Anne Brown will be here shortly. We'll announce when she has logged in and the time so that we can record that for minutes. So first thing on our agenda, swearing in of our new planning and zoning commissioner, Tom Heiserow. Heiserow. Okay.
Tell Josh how it's pretty.
Okay. Oh, God. We'll share that with everyone. Aaron, do you take over from here?
Sure. So Tom is not unfamiliar to this because he got to do it for the cemetery board when they were officially official. But what we'll do is I will have you raise your hand like this and you're just gonna repeat after me.
Okay.
I do solemnly affirm that I will support, obey, and defend
I do solemnly affirm that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Fantastic. Welcome aboard.
You.
So what we'll do is after the meeting, we'll just sign this, get that all done. We've got the conflict of interest disclosure that I talked to you about, so we'll get that filed.
Right.
And then I know we've got a lot kind of on the agenda today, but we'll talk about the email and getting you on to their regular documents and all that good stuff and get you up to speed. So we're so happy to have you. Thank you, Tom.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you. And so if I understand correctly, with taking your oath, you are now welcome to vote in this meeting. You're in. Is that correct, Aaron?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, perfect.
Expressed to his.
And so
desire.
now we can be roll called.
That's true. And your name?
And Tom Heiser.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And he pronounced it right.
And even
I used to have students come up to me all the time and say, how come the other teachers don't know how to pronounce your name?
that's the question.
Well, I don't know, I guess they don't listen. Listen to you, why should they listen?
Haven't been paying attention. So approval of meeting minutes, July 2nd, 2026, regular meeting. I went through these just before the meeting and I just had one quick little adding a colon here.
I
to
don't think I
close that
saw
one.
anything as.
Yeah, it looks like-
Yeah,
Amazing work, Aaron.
that was a good one.
Sometimes we win some.
Yeah, well, you know, or sometimes I just. Okay, I don't know what we said, so. No, that's good. I'll make a motion then to approve the July 2nd meeting minutes as submitted.
I'll second that.
Amazing. Any discussion? And all in favor, say aye.
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 I'll abstain since I wasn't present at either.
That sounds good.
And
And Anne has joined us at 6:04. Hi, Anne, can you hear us? Takes a little bit to log in, I guess.
Yes, sorry.
No, no problem. We are voting on the July 2nd meeting minutes. Did you have any comments or anything? All right, vote in. We'll do that roll call one more time now that Anne is in. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Hi,
Perfect. And then nay. Abstention. Okay.
one
Say it, please.
abstention, yeah.
And we vote for Eliza, please.
Oh, abstain.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And those July 2nd minutes are approved. Moving on to July 16th, we have a little bit more edits on here.
Yeah,
They looked good to me. I don't think I added any additional
So the ones I put in were, after you spoke that day, I was concerned with what I had said that you were offended by it,
Mhm.
and so I think I put that in there.
Mhm.
I also said that I didn't realize that I hadn't been clear enough in expressing myself during the discussion about Tom. So I wanted to make sure that that's what was in there for
Okay.
me saying.
Yeah. And then
Um,
under archaeological resources, human remains, instead of decided to recommend.
Right,
change to
we're-
encourages. Remove proper
Proper
with
law
law
enforcement.
enforcement.
law enforcement doesn't even need the word authorities, actually, law enforcement. But authorities is fine, whichever.
Let's go.
Okay, because it's technically it's the sheriff.
And then in
Um,
survey map, change the did to might.
Not,
The seem to
the
always.
group agreed that an
be-
application for zoning change might not, always be, yeah, if it was just gonna be like
Yeah,
it switched from one to the other and not a change.
perfect, perfect. Now it looks like those are all of the edits. Anyone else have any edits that they saw or that they'd like to bring up? Me?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the Thursday, July 16th minutes as amended.
I'll second that.
Amazing. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay? Abstain? Perfect, thank you. July 16th minutes are approved. Good work, team. Thank you, Erin. Lovely as usual.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Public comment. Does anyone here want to make a public comment in person? Anyone online might want to make a public comment? I don't see anyone online, but we'll give people 15 more seconds. No, not even that many. Okay, closing public comment, moving on to old business. Number one, update from town council. Do you want to give the update or would you like me to? Oh, you have notes.
Talk loud, so I'm not gonna go to the list.
Okay.
Alrighty, so the council, I believe, has met once since your last meeting, because they canceled their July 21st meeting. With that said, the Mayor Ewing shared an update that the wildland urban interface map, he was waiting to get he was waiting to hear back from the state regarding our request to kind of extend the area. It's not gonna be an issue, he just has to fill out like a formal request. But the gentleman that he spoke with said it wouldn't be a problem, so we can pretty much say that like that's all moving forward with the state just fine. The council had already approved the wildland urban interface map. And so this is just like that next level of check and approved. We did get an update from the active transportation working group / committee. That UDOT had put out an RFP and has awarded a bid for the planning phase of the active transportation, or I should say, of the
Planning
trail
system.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go, trail system from Montezuma Creek to Bluff and Bluff to Monument Valley. So that has about a year, they're planning about a year for this phase of planning.
Wait, I'm sorry, from now is a year?
Yeah, so the planning team has like a year to kind of get all this put together. The team that was awarded was Kimber. I don't even remember the Kimber something.
Today.
It's in the town council meeting minutes, or it will be.
It is, yeah.
But yes, we can probably expect to start hearing maybe some murmurings of that. But yeah, state of Utah is in the planning phase.
A little bit of clarification on that. So they're in the design phase for Bluff to Montezuma, Bluff to Monument Valley. And then they're in the planning phase for Bluff to Spanish Valley, Moab. And so planning means they'll work with municipalities and stakeholders, and the design is truly getting like out there so that they can have a shovel-ready plans to hand over.
Thank
So,
you for
yeah.
that clarification.
It took me a little bit to get that, so.
No,
Is
it's perfect.
this using existing roadways or is we talking a separate trail?
I believe based on the speed that 191 and 163 travel, I believe it's going to be an off the road trail, like the one in Moab. Yeah. So It's a big chunk of change just for this design portion.
It's like 61 miles.
61 miles, yeah,
Trail,
Yeah.
so pretty significant.
yeah.
I think it sounds like you had relayed about the housing work group.
Yes.
The last one, so we're just kind of, they're gonna kind of still be, putting all that together, figuring that out. I do expect though that like to have a plan with, planning and zoning coming in and communicating, we should expect more stuff coming to you all in the next couple months. And then, there is a training on September 9th up in Price. Taking place with CERTA and the Utah League of Cities and Towns. It'll kind of be like the event that was hosted in the spring, that Marcia, Malia and I were able to attend. I think it's gonna be a little bit bigger though, because it's for the whole region, not just for San Juan County. I guess with San Juan and Grand County, but this is gonna be like all of CERTA's,
The Southeast Regional District.
thank you, Southeast Regional District Local Government of Local Governments. And so, if anyone is interested in attending, I'll like send out the email to you all. I think the plan would probably be like a there and back trip and probably not doing it overnight.
But
But-
it's nighttime, isn't it?
It's
5
evening,
to
yeah,
7?
Yeah,
And talk about it, in terms of, if we want to approach council for travel dollars and stuff like that. It could go into that kind of training, budget that was approved by council, but I will send out the formal invitation before you RSVP. And if you would like to spend the night and need money, let me know and we'll see who all is interested and how to do that.
I can't go, so.
Okay, sorry, Marsha. But yeah, so if you're interested and they've got like a list of items that they'll go over, I think there's only so much they can get to in 2 hours, but we'll see how it goes. And dinner is provided.
Woo!
So if that's any kind of motivation.
Dinner was really good up there.
it was.
If you want dinner, go.
All right.
How about that, Malia? Anything?
With the Active Transportation Committee, they are looking for some members, so if anyone wants to apply, send some info to Luann Hook, and they're looking for 2 members of the public. Thanks. Yeah, any questions for Erin?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Number 2, update from commissioners or zoning code revisions. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this today because we have 3 other agenda items after it. But we gotta spend a little bit of time on it each time to work our way all the way through it. So what this is our zoning code that we are working on a red line set. So it's gonna look a little bit different. So at our last meeting, I started erasing and getting rid of things, but thankfully, thank you, Erin, I realized we're gonna want a red line set to actually hand over to people so they can look at it and say, oh, this is what you
What
removed,
changed?
this is what you've added. So I actually went back, added all of those things back in.
Back.
So the red lines are back, and what I've done
No,
now,
it does.
it's nice to do this now instead of when we're like all the way through the document.
Yeah.
And so scrolling down to where we were, so what you'll see I have done is.
And just to bring Tom and even Brian back
Yes.
up to speed, and that is, she went quickly just now across the definitions. And we're gonna do definitions last,
Yeah.
because we've discovered over the last year that we have definitions of things that aren't in there and things in there that aren't defined. So it's much better to go to definitions at the end. Okay,
Yes.
keep going.
Yep.
I only thought about them and said they're just for an awful lot.
There are a lot of
Definitely.
them.
And we found, Malia, I found something that I showed Malia, which is, should I just tell them the
Yeah.
word definition is defined in our subdivision code, the one that was given to us by professionals, and it basically says definitions not in here are state code already or common sense. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
so
Erase.
we're going to put that definition at the top
Yeah, right.
and then go from there,
Yeah,
because that's exactly right, Tom, we all went.
It's a lot of them.
triple R's of definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 alphabets.
3 alphabets words.
Sorry, okay, go on.
No, it's all good. So what you'll notice, I have just added anything that we have touched, I've turned it red.
Okay.
And then I just put the line through anything that we want to omit and then just written in red, anything that we are adding.
Yeah.
So what this means is you're going through this document in your revising mode, thank you. Please don't hit your backspace button unless it's just you typing something. Let's just highlight. And then if you see up here, you have that AB with the line through, that strike through.
Yeah.
That's what you'll want to use to actually put that line through things that you recommend that we erase or that we have decided to erase.
And doesn't that work also with the reviewing button? If you highlight it and then start typing, it lines through.
Not the way it's been working, so it actually,
okay.
yeah, so I went through in any of those areas, I had to
Okay.
hit reject suggestion. And then actually go through and change everything.
Sorry.
So
okay.
no, it's okay. We're all learning here.
We're learning.
So as we continue on. So these are the areas that we worked through last time. And so things that we were talking about today, actually, let's talk about it. We talked a little bit about, is that where we wanted to start? Yes, is agricultural A1, non-developable, agricultural A2, developable.
We're all gotta work on a good word for that.
And then removing agricultural A3 and combining some of
last
those
few
uses that are
things.
remaining into A2. So basically, at the end of last meeting, we were wondering if there was any additional suggestions, thoughts on this, because we didn't really have time to discuss it or get to it. Yes.
One, I think we wanted to discuss, and maybe I just remember wrong, keep going down to A3 for a second. And we said, so A3 is now, so A1 will be just the most open space, but now A2 will be all of it, the rest. And
Yes.
we have mobile home parks and RV parks and such in there. And I think that's where we left the discussion was, is that what we want? And I'm not saying no, I'm just asking. I think, didn't we say what?
So asking if all of campgrounds, mobile home parks, RV parks and recreation facilities should be added to A2.
Should be left in agricultural. We wanted agricultural A3 to have them because it was a little further out and less of it, I think. By combining, are we bringing RV parks into an area we don't want it? And I'm not saying we are, I just want to be careful that where that division is. And I think, yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Should have brought mine, but,
I can also pull them up on the screen,
uh,
because that definitely helps with conversation.
I mean, I think we talked about the idea that you should either have open space or open space that allows stuff. And that's where we were going with
Right.
this.
Yeah.
But on the open space that allows stuff, how much stuff do we allow? And I'm not saying that's wrong. I just want to make sure all those things fit in. Or add a couple more to the non-developable, I don't know, we just said sort of bathrooms in A1, so.
Right.
Is A1 actually maybe a visitor center part that's not just a bathroom? I don't know, I'm just, where you.
Yeah,
raise it
because in
up a little
A1,
bit.
it has the structures no larger than 2,400 square feet. And so,
Perfect,
yeah,
yeah,
is that a restroom? Is that a visitor center? So yes,
Yeah,
the
so.
A3
also don't have a ton of three.
is the former transfer station.
Yeah.
And then,
Road.
Oh, you brought up why
yeah,
didn't mine go to it? My screen isn't,
is it not showing?
not on my screen.
Hey, no, yep, you're right. Let me share the right thing.
Uh,
Hello.
And yeah, okay, so.
So it's our
Lights
solid neon green
is
is
A3.
A3. Yeah,
Okay, so that's why we said it was okay to have RV parks because they were a little further out. But I don't think I see anything wrong with that. The question is, where's A2, which it would now be allowed in?
Carnival Wash,
Great question.
There you
I
go.
run an RV park at Carnival Wash.
Perfect.
A2, not A2 sit, A2, oh, that's all that golden stuff.
Yeah, so that's the private, because we have A2 broken into Sitla as well as
Right, which
private.
you
and
can't
Sitla
worry
we
about,
can't.
yeah.
We can only make suggestions to Sitla. So
Strong.
A2, strong suggestions.
So therein lies the question. If we turn those bright greens into gold
mm,
and we say gold can have an RV park, it's coming much closer to town to have them, and that might be fine. We
Right.
have some in town already, but we want to be careful. And so and anything else on that list?
yeah, it seems like,
Is there a commercial zone that allows RV parks?
Yes,
yes.
So could you rezone them as commercial?
not have them in the, well, but I think we ran into that problem when we were trying to do the RV ordinance of where we could put them. We kind of opened it up to saying, wasn't it? I think it was Luann who was pointing out that state law does not recommend, not state law, or does not suggest RV parks in commercial, because who wants to park their truck amongst the Walmart parking lots? And I'm just, like I said, I'm just repeating all this, I'm not. So what we said in answer to that was, yeah, it should be in some sort of open land situation. So what you have is this RV park comes to town, builds itself. Is it next to houses? Is it next to commercial? Is it what's good for the RV park and what's good for the people next to it? And now this, I think we were in this exact same discussion
Usually,
under RVs,
yeah,
so.
Okay.
based on the land that is in that A2 private, I feel like not a lot of it is very developable.
Can't tell the difference between A2.
So that's A2, A1 is like that, this lighter green, our A2 is like our gold.
Same.
Yeah.
So gold, you're right, goes up Cottonwood
Yeah,
Wash.
so it goes up Cottonwood, it
It's
looks like
down
it's
to the
in the
river.
wash, like. Yeah, we can say you can do these things in A2, but the land itself might not actually be feasible for it, so it might be that, like what Tom is saying, we keep. Those RV parks and. At least RV parks and mobile home parks, keep those in commercial, but then allow campgrounds and recreation facilities, things that don't require as much infrastructure. And the A2 developable. Cause that's, here's a camp pad and maybe here's a pit toilet or something. Which would make more sense of Cottonwood. We don't necessarily, to use that as an example. Instead of a whole RV park where you have the tank sunk in the ground where a flood could come through.
Yeah.
So obviously not something we have to make a decision on tonight, but seems like that might be.
That's definitely one we were stuck on.
So what you're
Thank
suggesting, I just want to make sure I understand. The current A2 would be potentially not developed in the same way as, because some of these, it seems, you're dealing with floodplain. There's a lot of issues in many of those A2s.
Yeah.
There is, the last June flood, I had a foot of water in my yard at the lower parts of it, and I'm half mile from the river.
Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe because we're trying to hone the uses in A1, A2, develop, non-develop. Or non-developed, develop, maybe we need to change the maps up somewhat. Once again, not saying right or wrong,
Right.
but this may lead to some map changes of what those A2s and A1s are.
Right.
Because she's right, I mean, allowing people to build houses when we know there's a floodplain in Cottonwood Watch would be like, build at your own risk, we know, but still, I don't know.
Yeah.
We may have to do some.
When I think of agricultural, I think of farms, ranches, orchards, and only buildings that would support that. And I see. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't been in any discussion.
No, that's fine,
It's
but-
just, like the whole idea of A2 troubles me a little bit.
Well, so then maybe there's another way of looking at this and just have agricultural, not with a number 1 or a number 2. And it says no development. Just bathrooms and a kiosk or something, whatever.
But I mean,
we
along
decide.
with that is also a single family dwelling.
Yeah, could be a farm.
Yeah, it's. which
Single
is-
family dwelling, accessory dwelling units, accessory structures,
Are you
things that
on mine?
support
If you
the.
roll down to 1 just a little bit on your screen for
Yeah.
me, there we go. There we go, thank you.
Mhm.
Public lands, cemeteries, public restroom, so you would move houses into that A1 because of the. It's not in there now.
What color is it? Okay. I think I like keeping A1 and A2 separate. I like the idea of developable and non-developable because a lot of the non-developable is BLM and like Sitla land. And that is keeping those lands as they are. Whereas if we changed it to all of agricultural as developable, at least to the extent of a single family dwelling, accessory structure, that opens up a lot more for potentially being sold off or doing other and really
Yeah,
filling it
I'm
in.
thinking of this as a way of protecting the.
Yeah.
Maybe we need another category that actually deals with recreational types of things that goes beyond what a public park would be. But I don't know. I think about that transfer station, Boy Scout camp, whatever the heck it is over there. I mean, that has great use when it's being used. It just seems, it almost seems as though this particular area, particularly because right now, the possibility for growth in those areas of recreation, if we don't have it well defined now, we could get in trouble later. Maybe this needs to be a work session discussion.
Yeah.
So we're leaving each other with the ideas of sort of rewriting this in our heads for the next meeting
Yeah.
of taking everybody's points and making it into 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
We'd be back to A1, 2, and 3. What a surprise.
Let's make a new category. Get rid of 2, make 2.
Make it 2A. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as always, great conversation. It's good to just continue thinking these through. I appreciate thinking things through like this with a
Yeah.
group. So it is 6:30, so I do want to move on to the next item. Actually, the next tab real quick to include discussion of ADUs and DADUs. So we have ADUs, there's internal ADUs, accessory dwelling units, and then detached accessory dwelling units. So quickly on this, I did share a YouTube training from Utah League of Cities and Towns, which I'll also share with you, Tom. I'll write it down to do that. And basically, we aren't required to follow a lot of the state requirements with ADUs because we do not have a moderate income housing plan because we are less than 5,000 residents. But they did us some really good suggestions on ADUs and some good code that they were referencing. So. What am I doing with this? Regarding Marcia's question specifically about their place
Internal
and
or-
internal and external. Let me find my document.
We have notes on it. I cleaned up my notes and I don't see my notes, so, but,
Okay.
yeah.
This what I want to. No. Okay.
AV video, there's notes.
Okay. I actually don't know where I was going with that, so.
Well, if I might
Yes,
just take it
please.
from there, just what, I mean, basically what happened is the state stepped in and wrote an ADU thing, but there's primarily covered the DADU. And
Yeah.
what they said, overall, overarching, all of the state code is, you gotta allow people to have ADUs if they want them. And your rules in your code can be specific to, you gotta meet some setbacks, you gotta do, but the suggestions of all the experts who did this video for us of what does this really mean in state law, they're kind of like, look, be careful on this. Don't overdo what you do to the ADU. If someone has a house and they have a lot and they want to put grandma in the back, backyard, you got to let them do it. And you should give them a little leeway so that it fits properly. Absolutely has to meet health code stuff, which we have a little different than others because we're on septic. So if we have to meet safety and health and safety, but maybe your setbacks need to be a little different, or maybe,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, that was something I noted. There are some codes that say for ADUs, it only has to be a 2-foot setback. Like many codes have really altered their setbacks specifically for DADUs, the detached ADUs.
But what was funny about that is then there's this whole discussion about window coverings.
Yeah,
You have to have frosted
be okay,
windows
yeah.
if someone could, because if you think about it, I mean, it's bad enough in many neighborhoods that you can go, oh, look, they're home, but it'd be worse if you're like, oh, look what they're doing when they're home.
right.
That we don't need. So it's a weird kind of, they have to have tinted windows and and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
So when we go to clean this up into our language,
Yeah,
I want to make sure we just keep it simple.
yeah,
Just,
Why wouldn't people deal with their own sense of privacy? I mean, why would there need to be a law that says you need to put curtains on your windows so nobody can look at what you're doing?
I don't know how they incorporate, some of the towns were incorporating
Yeah.
things into their laws that said, well, we can have 2-foot setbacks, but you get tinted windows. It's like, then why not do the 10-foot setback and just, move with it, whatever. So those are things.
you could argue both sides.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I could argue that you should allow someone to put it in if it fits, but I can also argue that the neighbor could go, look, I don't want you looking in my window
Right,
either.
exactly.
Um,
Yes,
but-
and something that I have been in discussion with Kristen, building department all week, is there a limit in the state code for the number of ADUs that you can allow people to have? And the answer is no.
no,
You must allow them to have at least one, but you cannot say. But there is no maximum in the state code for the number that you can say that they can have.
no, but
There is
there's a
no max.
but there.
I mean, that just happens naturally with density
Yeah, but
of septic tanks and other things. I couldn't find it anywhere in the code. Please look.
I thought I did,
Okay.
but at this point, here's what my takeaway from all this. My takeaway from this was, we need to look at our ADU sentences,
Mhm.
and put detached ADU is allowed and setbacks are only 10 feet, picking a number, whatever.
Yeah.
We need to clean that up. That's number one. Then number two is we really don't have a definition of interior, except that the actual definition is separate entrance, you know, kind of thing. So if we're using my garage as the example, I have the bunkhouse that we've all known, all this, and then it's been the garage has been Vaughn's office, Vaughn's business. And now that's done, so that would be a separate entrance and its own apartment. It seems to fit everything we need. I have two houses on my lot, it's grandfathered from 30 years ago, you know, no. 30 years ago when I built mine, we had permission to have the two houses there, so no problem, that was the count. Bottom line is, I believe that I'm fine, and I would like to express that correctly in our zoning code.
Yeah,
That's my goal here, is just to get all our words right.
yeah, so just to keep ADUs in mind as we're moving forward,
Exactly.
of how do we want those, as we're moving through zones. Which zones do we want ADUs allowed in? Because that, I mean, that's also part of this agriculture discussion. Do we want to set a limit to number of ADUs on an agricultural zone versus in a residential? Or,
Yeah,
because, you know, agricultural zones typically have larger pieces of property, and so they will.
but how many grandmas can live?
But exactly, what do we actually want that to look like? And we, is a very broad term, as we of Town of Bluff, for keeping our open spaces open. So.
Yep.
To be revisited next time
Okay.
in 2 weeks.
But with your permission, I would like to say, is everyone okay that I'm getting an ADU is okay where I'm doing it? And the reason I say that is Vaughn is like standing there with the damn hammer in his hand, ready to do this. Kristen's been working with him, everything's good. I'm going to bring Erin a check probably the 1st of September because we have whatever. I just want to make sure that I haven't screwed this up.
I've been chatting with Kristen and Ben all week and pouring through code, looking through it. And personally, I think that it looks great. I appreciate you announcing a conflict of interest as we're discussing an
Yeah, that's-
ADU, that one of the reasons it came up is due to something that you are doing, which
Yeah.
is in code,
Okay.
based on my understanding, and I appreciate you being a great example for all of us.
Well, I kind of messed up before, I don't want to mess up again, so thank you.
Are you required to consult with your neighbors when you do something like that?
Not according to code now, but we could always add that if it's something.
Well, I mean, there would be some situations. If you made an alteration on your property that could impact the neighbors of.
One of
What
it-
you're talking about.
No, well, mine doesn't change anything for,
Yeah.
nobody will know except Dustin, whoever would park on the side there, I mean, and we park there. But what you have to be careful of when we're doing this, Tom, is the idea that if we set a rule that says, for example, the setbacks is a good example. If we say you have a yard and you can have an ADU, but because it's an ADU, we're gonna do 10-foot setbacks instead of 15 or something, okay? If that's happening in your yard and you meet those requirements, the neighbor can be bummed, but he can't do anything about it. So
There's no
that's,
requirement.
there's no requirement for us to
Take
let
their
him know. Hopefully, you're friends with your neighbor and you go over and you go, hey, grandma's moving into the backyard. We're gonna have this cute little thing. I'll try and put the little fence there or whatever, and you talk with your neighbor.
Yeah.
Because the key is writing the code for the landowner, the proper to meet the code.
Yeah, and that's also something else that they mentioned in that training is requiring a certain number of parking spaces for ADUs. Per ADU, you have to have 1 or 2 parking spaces, and so that can also be part of some of those setbacks, and also determining if a plot of land can accept an ADU of your parking is maxed out. It's just not gonna happen. And that's, in my opinion, an unfortunate reason to deny, but you know,
Well,
line's gotta be somewhere.
we can get into those
Yeah,
specifics.
moving along.
Thank you.
Reviewing and assigning forms to update, so. the last time we updated forms, sorry, I just keep on giving you guys homework. The last time we assigned or we reviewed forms was back in 2024. And
Yesterday.
I know, right?
Like, it was only yesterday.
Okay, 3 years.
So the way that I realized that our forms hadn't been updated since 2024, we are in conversation with someone who who requested a subdivision application. So touch up on your subdivision code. Might be seeing something coming down the line. And I shared the code with them. I shared the application, and then I looked at and Erin caught it. And she said, I don't think that application matches our code. So I pulled it up. It hadn't been updated since 2021. And it's because at the time that we did this last update, we were in the middle of updating that whole code, and then we didn't go back and update that form. So bless you, Marcia. Marcia and I had a quick 2-hour meeting, worked through it, made the form beautiful, sent it out. So that's further down the list of, oh no, it is on this one. So
Just
to
that.
show you guys that form, make sure that you guys agree with it, or if you guys have a chance to look at it at another date. But otherwise, we have some more forms that need to be reviewed, and it's the way we did it last time, was just with this checklist. So we have, does the form include date application, signature boxes, you know, all of these things that all of the forms should have. And then we also ask that you take that form, compare it to the ordinance, and just kind of comb through the two. If it says in the ordinance, you need to have this, we want it to be on the application form of a checkbox. Yes, this is included. And so, there is an internal document that I am also working with Kristen on that is a planning and zoning plan review checklist, because I sat in on a building meeting a couple of weeks ago, and in order for someone to receive a certificate of occupancy, it's requiring the planning and zoning chair to sign off at the end. But in order for planning and zoning to be involved in the whole process, we are creating this plan review checklist that at the beginning of that, when that application is turned in, the plan comes to me. I basically am checking for these things. Let me pull that checklist up. And that is verifying that at the end I can say, or whoever is chair at that time can say, yes, this meets all of our zoning ordinances, this building meets setbacks, this building meets building height requirements, because that's not necessarily something that our building department is required to check. They do, they should, but it's just giving planning and zoning a little bit more of our attention into there. So that's one of the plan documents. Yes, ma'am.
You and Kristen determined who looks at what? Is that what you're saying?
So
Because-
Kristen and I are working on this document. I have it
Okay.
pulled up, and
Okay.
what I'd like you guys to also review it, because there might be something I'm missing. And so upon receipt of a building plan from the permit technician, planning and zoning chair will review the documents. This provides redundancy of plan review and allows the planning and zoning chair the opportunity to bring a building permit to the planning and zoning commission, should there be any questions regarding approval. And so I went through the zoning code. These are things that I want to make sure of whenever I look at someone's plans. Is that use allowed? If it's not an allowed use, then the building application is denied, but they do have a process, which is another form we'll get to.
Can we back up for just a second?
Yes.
So at my direction and the direction of Mayor Ewing, we have asked for this process. So since we have a formal administrative process by the Bluff Building Department and how they process applications, as opposed to bringing them to a board of volunteers, it is the goal to turn this into an administrative process as opposed to a legislative process. If we have a written ordinance, that is what we have to adhere to. It's not like, oh, well, for this owner, unless things like a variance or any of the items that have to be approved by planning and zoning, there are a couple that you all would look at. The goal is to make this much more administrative, so our property owners do not have to wait when they submit a building permit. Building department has about 14 days to get everything back to them. However, for a certificate of occupancy, the chair currently, because we don't have a planning administrator, P&Z chair is like the second signatory on top of the building official. I had concerns that Malia was just like being not forced to sign, but kind of forced to sign and hadn't seen any of the work up until it was on her desk. And so the purpose of this is, okay, it is administrative, we've got fewer folks involved. However, if there is a concern or there is an area in which interpretation could be different or skewed, or we're seeing an issue with the code, the chair is able to bring it back to you all and say, what was the intention of the code here? If there is, room for that type of issue. And so putting you all less in the management and enforcement side of things and much more in the like, hey, if we've got a question about code interpretation to such an extent, then it will come to you all. But for the everyday goings on, building department, planning and zoning chair. And I say planning and zoning chair.
Cause it changes.
Cause it does change. And so that'll be a big one as you guys vote for the planning and zoning chair moving forward. That's a pretty large responsibility.
My only concern here, I don't care how the process gets lined out. This is process. And I don't care how that gets out, except that I don't want to put. The whole reason we have a building department is to get rid of planning and zoning being the building department. So chair, putting this back on the chair, to me feels not redundant, but a step backwards, perhaps. Once again, I'm not saying right or wrong. Well, maybe I am saying right or wrong. I'm saying that I don't know why planning and zoning is coming back into the act. There you go. I'm asking that question. So as this progresses, see where it takes you, because as chair of planning and zoning, when I did it for the county, when I did it in Colorado, when I've done it before, I never see anything when it's done. The only signature that the chair was responsible for was subdivisions and things on, so you can go to the county recorder's office and see my name on subdivisions all through the county, because I did it for 10 years. But I never signed a CO and I never signed so I'm not.
It would usually be the planning administrator. We don't have one of those. And so that.
So this is where
it's really coming down to that element of planning so all the building stuff, that is why then Tomco is signing off as building official. But for the town of Bluff zoning codes.
Okay.
So for the zoning piece of it, are we saying that the application meets our setbacks, our height requirements, our whatever?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So ideally, it is not a major list of things. But in our current state and the
We
current
have
state of the
nobody.
administration,
Okay.
and now I will say, as you're bringing this up, someone like an administrative director. Like maybe that is where this goes.
Right.
But the thought would be with like our current staff and current responsibility levels. Ideally, the planning and zoning chair is much more in tune with the planning and zoning, the zoning code. Than the individual who is in the administrative director seat currently. In the future, maybe that changes and we could include that job description in one of our other jobs.
Right.
But in our current state of like what people know, the planning and zoning chair,
Okay.
I am trying to be the most informed person at this point in time.
Okay.
It just
Okay,
so happens that it overlaps right now.
Yeah, and you've answered it well, because you're right. In everything I just described that I used to do, there was a planning director.
Right.
Surprise, we don't have. Okay, I take back, I don't take it
Don't take
back. I
back.
wish you luck. So,
And whoever is chair for 2027.
mhm.
So Chris and I are working on
That's a
that.
good
document.
discussion and a good way for us to like be able to start.
Okay,
We're still trying to make sure roles and duties are in
yeah,
their right
absolutely,
category.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay,
not part.
be quiet.
I have a
Yeah.
question about this lighting that's below this. Is it time to ask that question? Because I don't understand. So is this red type mean this is new information? Because over here under Christian's comments, it's like once construction is completed, that seems a little backwards. If I was doing some lighting, I mean, everybody is obviously going to have external lighting. I think we have to have a lighting plan, just like every other part of the plan of a new residence or commercial or whatever. The way that's worded, once construction is complete, there's a problem, then we'll follow up to remedy the situation. That sounds like something that won't happen with our current staff and the humans we have around to try to do that.
It's harder to remedy than it is just to plan for something. So, the way that I have this laid out, based on our ordinances, so zoning code is underlined because that is the ordinance that I pulled these bullet points out of. Exterior lighting is underlined because that is the ordinance that I pulled these bullet points out of. Kristen just turned that red so that she could make her comment and so that I would know that she was talking about that entire section. And per our exterior lighting ordinance, a lighting plan is required. And so that is something, that is a hole currently in what is in plans being received, that building department isn't requiring it, but planning and zoning is. And so that is one of the nice things about this redundancy with planning and zoning chair checking it, is that we are requiring a lighting plan. And if we ultimately want to go back and remove the requirement for a lighting plan, we can go back into that ordinance and revise it. But as of right now, our lighting plan is required.
There you go.
Good. Thank you.
Mhm. Great question. So that's continuing on forms. That's a form that I'm currently working on. We have a building flow chart and review process that we'll get to that one at a later date. But at this point, if you guys are willing to just start signing up for some of these, just basically reviewing that application for the things above. Who wants sign permit application?
I'll take sign.
Awesome. Subdivision application. I just did that one. So that one.
Yep, we did it.
So that one I'd like everyone to review. Because it was just updated. So a form we need to create is a subdivision vacate or amendment form. And that's not something I will require anyone to do on their own. Does a group want to work on that one or?
Maybe I'll take that one on as bringing a template.
Okay,
Good call.
I'm happy to work on that.
The sign application shouldn't be bad. It should just be checking
Yeah,
that we have everything in it. So I'll take the subdivision vacate or amend and bring some sort of fake one that we can make ours.
okay, perfect. I'm happy to work with you on that one
Yeah.
because it's gonna be, I feel like a lot of the subdivision application just kind of copy and pasted.
I'm gone next week, but when I get back, I should have time before our meeting to at least just get us a blank or
Okay.
something.
Site plan application.
Put my name on that one, sure.
All
Put my
right.
name right on there.
And so as you see with bullet points underneath, do we
Yeah.
still need this? So that's a question that you can even answer. It might be that building department has that covered.
Yeah,
We can just scrap our form for
Sounds
that.
perfect.
Yeah, reach out to them first,
I will.
especially on.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, look, that's the one that got us stuck of, we're gonna take it, all that stuff out of our zoning code because it's in the building now, so.
Agreed.
So that might be one that we even get to hold off on. You might have a little bit of time.
I'll at least just send a message on our behalf over to the building.
Sweet.
I'll start.
Agenda request form.
What is that?
Great question. That's why I have the bullet underneath. Do we want this? Town council doesn't currently have an agenda request form, but planning and zoning does. Basically, if somebody wants to be on our agenda, they can complete this form and turn it into us. So,
Mostly, they usually just call us and ask if they can,
yeah,
you know, and
we haven't
suggest.
we haven't been following that one very tightly. So I'll take this one and kind of review if we need to have it. Land partition application.
And what does that actually mean?
It has a link to it. And so what we did for the Davilas earlier this year, they divided their land into two pieces, a piece of their land. And so it's just the application that she had completed. And it falls under the master fee schedule and minor subdivision.
I'll be glad to do that.
All right.
Feel
thank
it.
you. And then we have an internal form that's a planning and zoning town council recommendation form, also something we haven't been using. But I was looking back at the previous ones. And anytime that we would make a recommendation to town council, it would be something that was actually written out and then turned into them for their agenda packet.
As a form or just a letter from the chair?
It was truly a form. It like
Okay.
had pieces to fill out.
Did you like it? Did
I
it?
don't know. I'll take it.
Whoops,
There-
I
there we go.
didn't make you do that.
All right, variance form. Say Brian?
Yeah.
Zoning amendment
That's a form,
request form. And then we also have the change of use application. Is that what I'm trying to, is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, so those
Change-
two need to be
Is
looked
that
at.
together? Am I,
They are two different things. though.
okay,
You either change the zone or you change the use. You-
correct, right. And then there's a process for adding a use to the zoning code and then any other forms needed.
Well, maybe we should just take these for now
I
and
think
go,
that's a great idea.
and if we're done, we can assign these the next time.
Sounds perfect. I love it. Okay, thanks, team. Yep.
For taking purposes.
Yeah.
The zoning amendment request form, who's taking that one?
Go down.
We're gonna not assign that.
We're not, well, we didn't assign those
Yep.
last few.
We'll have a
The
couple,
last three are not assigned.
correct,
Thank you.
yes. We'll let Tom get a little bit of
Yeah,
ordinance.
Tom's gonna
his
just-
feet before he
Take
signs
your
off,
time.
but I think it's wise.
Yes, this stuff. I will make some big mistakes.
No. Okay, so plan review checklist, I actually combined that with number 3. Number 5, discussion of potential RV park on West Side. This is actually something I'm going to take off of this agenda,
Yeah.
and this is something that is being handled internally. And the way that Aaron and I talked about it, do you wanna talk about this one? Basically, the same thing of separating administrative and enforcement with.
Alright, so, was thinking about this, a couple different folks. I know the idea of enforcement comes up a lot. Who is the enforcement body? What are we doing? So what I would like to do, to preserve your very valuable time twice a month for an hour. B, to not drag landowners, property owners through the mud in public meetings. And C, to stretch my chops and Mayor Ewing's chops as trying to get everything under control. If you all are receiving or seeing issues in town pertaining to zoning or building code, I'd like you to bring them to my attention. They don't need to go on meetings unless there's some real big thing where we're talking about making amendments to code, again, that interpretation. We are more than happy to bring interpretation questions to you all or potential edits. But Josh and I will take a more active role in the enforcing, speaking to the landowner. Of course, it is always easier for us to address things before they happen. So like timeliness is key. Please bring it to our attention. Building department also, that's kind of their job. They're gonna be reaching out, building department stuff, and getting with folks ahead of time. And then Josh and town council and I will talk about enforcement, because clearly there are a lot of things that aren't necessarily in compliance. But if you are seeing an issue, please let me know. You feel free to copy Melina as well. It needs to go to Josh and I. And again, we don't need to drag people through the mud. Same for the public, if they're listening, let us know. If you are receiving complaints from the public, bring them on up. Now, if people are asking questions about their own property and they themselves are trying to get to compliance, talk to the planning and zoning, email Ryan, Rocket and Roland, amazing. I know we've had more than a few come in that way. So if the property owner themselves is actively reaching out, please do what you guys do best.
Yeah,
Same with the building department. They're gonna do what they do best. If it is a complaint by someone else or a concern, or again, you are our eyes. I'm in as many places as possible, but I don't see everything. let me know, let Josh know, we'll do this.
And what is the method of contact that you would prefer?
Email, so it's documented.
So it's email Erin, town manager, and Josh as mayor, and copy.
Yeah, put us both
Share.
on there, we will get it addressed,
Okay.
yeah, I think it just does need to be John.
So this example of tonight where there was a question about some RVs,
Mhm.
that would be the person who wanted this on the agenda should in fact just send you an email.
Yes, and I'm already.
Oh, you're already on it.
You're already aware
On
of
it,
it,
yeah.
that I don't need any other formal follow-up at this
Okay,
point.
but that was a good
Um,
example of
That's
saying,
perfect example.
okay,
And that way we're conserving everyone's time. We're not dragging property, because we want people like carrot and stick, right? Like,
Yeah.
we very much want this to be a positive interaction. I don't want folks like, oh, I'm gonna
Right.
get dragged here.
no,
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, so emails to me, emails to Josh, copy us on both. And then if there's anything where we are like, hey, planning and zoning,
Yeah.
why was this in here? Or we have plenty of them that like, and that's why you're going through the codes and amending them, because like they're contradictory. Those we will bring to we will bring to your meetings to talk about.
Perfect.
Other questions or concerns with that?
Oh, I was reading in the general plan that there was a hope to have some person that could be shared by
Enforcement.
local, yeah, enforcement.
Yes.
I guess we're not there.
We are not quite there. Josh is definitely taking an active role. He's been great reaching out to folks, trying to get ahead of it before like the structure is completely built. But we don't have money right now for enforcement, or I shouldn't say that. There is not money in the budget to hire an enforcing officer. I will say from a building department standpoint, so Health and Human Safety Building Department, the building official does have the authority, and it is like in his job description that he is able to like
yeah.
slap notices. He's the, he's been really great though, and is much more, hey, let's work with you to get you in compliance. But a good question, and one that what hope will continue to come up with town council as we move forward in building our organization.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Erin.
So on a quick note on with the email, so kind of going back to that plan review checklist of referring people to building department, which I think is a wonderful, please continue doing that. Thank you so much with everything. If they have a question that's building related, talk to the building department, but then also just reminding them, hey, and reminder, this is our zoning code. These are the rules we request that we require you to follow. You request and require. So also just reminding them of zoning code because it's not necessarily tied into building code. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Thank you guys so much for participating on this exciting meeting. Any questions or thoughts on that? Okay, items for next agenda.
It's our work session.
It'll be our work session.
Let's do the zoning code and the forms.
Zoning code and forms. Anything else?
20th, right? That's the date, this meeting,
Yes.
14 days from.
14 days, right?
I will be attending virtually from Ohio, so if anyone is able to.
I will be in town,
Thank
so
you.
I should be in town.
we'll get.
Went to school.
Oh, nice. Okay, any other items for that? That'll be plenty for our next agenda. Others. I have a couple, as always. So that planning and zoning training on August 20th after our next meeting at 7 p.m. It looks like they've been putting the agenda together and it looks like they're basically talking about revising their old code. And so it might be something if anybody wants to listen and maybe like participate or tell them that they need to change their code. No, I'm just kidding. So it could be something good because we're kind of doing the same thing, but it is going to be a virtual link if anybody wants to attend. I will share that link out. So
Do we need to RSVP or can we see how we're doing?
I think it's
And
basically you can
yeah,
just log
just-
in.
log in.
Yeah.
Okay, then share the login would be
Okay.
great.
Will do. And then also a reminder of the Utah Land Use Institute Conference, October 22nd and 23rd. It is online or virtual or in person. I wrote online or virtual. Online or in person. I am planning on attending that. And so if others are, I'd be happy to stream it and then we can attend from
Good. What was the date?
the room
again?
here.
Sorry.
October 22nd and 23rd. And I believe it's like an 8 to 5 both days.
And who, which organization?
Utah Land Use Institute,
Did you email out that one?
probably a long time ago. The last time they sent that info was a while ago, so I can send an updated training email.
Land use institute.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, March 18th.
Eons ago.
Spring conference.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Any other
Shouldn't we also talk about our September presentation? Seeing as how that will be a month from, like, what are we going to do at that presentation?
Great question. Do you want to add that to our next agenda or do you want to talk about it right now?
Well, I thought maybe at our work session, we could at least start that process.
Okay,
Great idea.
sounds great. I'll add that to that agenda as well so that we can come up with plans. I do have the maps. The maps have been ordered and printed and they're in my office.
Oh,
So
nice.
we have that part done.
And that way we can get maybe some more input, hopefully, about like agriculture near my house or
Yeah.
whatever, and
Yeah.
hear some of that.
Yeah, so as we're working through the code, that's a good reminder, and as we're working through the code, if there's questions we want to ask the public specifically, making notes of those so that we can, on a PowerPoint or something, say, what do you guys think about this? Give us your thoughts.
I would caution this group to remember that very few people show up for these things.
Marcia, this is gonna be different.
Okay,
A decent turnout to the one posted by town council. No, it was taxes.
That's true.
yeah.
So, you know, tax.
No, it's great. And you know what? We can drum it up. We can tell people we need them, to tell us
Yeah.
this.
I'll work on a flyer.
Promote.
Yep,
Exactly.
all right. Any others? Okay, would anyone like to motion to adjourn?
Oh, I would motion to adjourn.
Awesome, 7:08. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Someday I might meet you. I usually am zooming in, but never know, I might come to one of these.
Only time will tell.
There we go.